Good afternoon, friends. Myself, Saurya Ganesh, lecturer in electrical engineering from Government Polytechnic, Jantur. Today, we are seeing the questions frequently asked in the examinations for 2 marks or 4 marks on the chapter AC Fundamentals for Basic Electrical Engineering subjects. Okay, for these subjects, we are going to see some important questions on first chapter, that is AC fundamentals chapters. Okay, frequently asked questions for the examination. Okay, so the first question on the chapter, that AC fundamental, is they ask every time the definition of the reluctance and with it units. Okay, so the question is define the reluctance with it units. Okay, so what is meant by reluctance? The reluctance is defined as opposition offered by the material to the magnetic flux to set up through its. It's called as the reluctance. Okay, and the unit of reluctance is ampere turns per Weber. Ampere turns per Weber. Okay. The second question is asked for the 2 marks, that is the impedance triangle. That is the impedance triangle. See here, this triangle is given. Impedance triangle is defined as whose base is indicated by resistance, hypotenuse is represented by inductive reactance, height is represented by inductive reactance, and hypotenuse is represented by the impedance. Hypotenuse is represented by the impedance. A right angle triangle impedance triangle is defined as a right angle triangle in which base is represented by resistance, height is represented by inductive reactance, and hypotenuse is represented by the impedance. This is known as the impedance triangle. The question is asked for the 2 marks. You have to draw this diagram, and you have to give the definition. The right angle triangle in which the base is represented by resistance, height is represented by inductive reactance, and hypotenuse is represented by impedance. Impedance is known as the impedance triangle. Okay, we have to draw this diagram. Okay, the next question, is the state the following terms and write the formula and state the relation of the frequency for the both terms. Okay, that is the inductive reactance and capacitive reactance. We have to define the terms inductive reactance and capacitive reactance, and we have to write the relation of frequency for both two terms. Okay, first term, that is the inductive reactance. Inductive reactance is defined as the opposition offered by inductance to the flow of alternating current. It is measured in the ohms. XL is equals to 2 pi FL. XL is equals to the 2 pi FL. And the second is the capacitive reactance. The capacitive reactance is defined as the opposition offered by capacitance to flow the alternating current. In inductive reactance, the opposition is due to the inductance, opposition offered by inductance. In case of capacitance, oppositions offered by the capacitance. Inductive reactance, XL is equals to 2 pi FL. Means here XL is directly proportional to the frequency. Inductive reactance is directly proportional to the frequency. In case of capacitive reactance, XC is inversely proportional to the frequency. XC is equals to 1 upon 2 pi FC. and the both inductive reactance and capacitive reactance, the unit is the ohm. Okay, we have seen the definitions and the relation of inductive reactance and capacitive reactance with frequency. Inductive reactance is directly proportional to frequency, and capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to the frequency. Okay, second, this 2 marks question. Okay, we will go to the next question, that is the state the following terms. Okay, what are that terms? Phase difference, in phase quantity, and out of phase quantity. Okay, this question is asked for the 4 marks. The 4 definitions are asked and 4 definitions answer we have to write. Okay, the first definition, that is the phase. It is a angular distance covered by an alternating quantity since it passed through its last zero value while increasing towards the positive, is known as the phase. And the second is the phase difference. The phase difference between two alternating quantity is the angular distance between their respective zero or maximum values. Okay, here follow figure is given. In that figure we are here phase difference phi is shown, that there are two quantity, voltage quantity and current quantity. In this quantity the phase difference is given, that is the phi. Okay, now the third definition, in phase quantity. Okay, in phase quantity. If the phase difference between two alternating quantity is zero, okay, the phase difference between the two alternating quantity is zero, then they are called as the in phase quantity. Okay, they are called as the in phase quantity. Or we can say that if the two alternating quantity, if the two alternating quantity attain their zero or maximum value or minimum value simultaneously. See here, this voltage and currents, these two quantity, that is the, this quantity is current and this quantity is the voltage. These two quantity attains their zero position, their maximum position and their minimum position simultaneously. Okay, so zero position, maximum position and minimum position simultaneously, then such alternating quantity is called as the in phase alternating quantity. This alternating quantity is called as the in phase alternating quantity. Then next we will see the out of phase alternating quantity. Okay, if the two alternating quantities do not attain their zero or maximum values simultaneously. Okay, this alternating is quantity is called as the out of phase alternating quantities. In phase alternating quantity, the both alternating quantity, that is the current and voltage, attain their minimum value or zero value or maximum value simultaneously, then this alternating called as in phase alternating quantity. And if these two alternating will not attaining their zero position, that is zero values or maximum value simultaneously, then we can call as alternating quantity are the out of phase alternating quantity. See here the diagrams are given. Okay, in the first diagram the current and voltage, see here the voltage and current, these are in phase alternating quantity. And in the second figure, the voltage and currents are the out of phase. There is a phase difference between voltage and current is the pi by 2. Okay, so here this question we have seen. What are the what is this question? The we have to define the terms and in phase quantity, out of phase quantity and phase difference. Okay, with the definition we have to draw the diagram also. Next question is the draw the phasor diagrams and waveform diagrams for the RC series circuits. RC series circuits. So, so this is the RC series circuits. What is meant by RC series circuits? The resistance and capacitance are connected in series, and the instantaneous voltage is applied across the series combination of resistance and capacitance. This circuit is called as the RC series circuit. See here the series combination of R and C, and across the series combination of R and C, the voltage, instantaneous voltage source is applied. As soon as this voltage is applied, the current start flowing through this coil, uh, through this R and C element. Due to the internal resistance or resistance of R, the resistance, there will be some voltage drop across resistor. This is called as VR, and there will be some voltage drop across capacitance. This is called as the VC. This is a circuit diagram. Now this is the phasor. This is a waveform diagram for the RC series circuit, and see here this is a phasor diagram. Okay, in this phasor diagram, see here, in case of series circuit, current is the same. Current is the same, and in case of resistance, the voltage across resistor and current are in phase. So here will be shown that is the VR and this I are in phase. In case of capacitance, the current leads the applied voltage by 90 degree. So here this current is leading to this voltage VC, okay, by 90 degree. And the combination, that is, this is the total voltage VR plus VC. This is the phasor addition. Okay, this is the phasor addition. Now next question is, state the concept of lagging and leading alternating quantity and state its nature. This question is asked for the 4 marks. What is meant by leading alternating quantity? What is meant by the lagging alternating quantity? Okay, see here. The quantity which attains its zero value, maximum value later to compare the other alternating quantity is called as the lagging alternating quantity. And the alternating quantity which attains its zero maximum value earlier than the other alternating quantity is called as the leading alternating quantity. Here we can see the waveforms. Here we can see the waveforms for the both. Waveform for the both. See here. Or here we can also explain the leading and lagging alternating quantity. See here, this voltage and current. Voltage is started at the zero crossover points. Okay, and this voltage waveform for this voltage, that is the voltage waveform. V of t is equals to the Vm sin omega t, and this is the waveform for current is also Im is equals to the Im sin omega t plus pi by 2. Means the current waveform attaining its zero position, its maximum position and minimum position earlier than this voltage quantity omega t plus pi by 2, earlier than the other alternating quantity, that is the voltage waveform. So the current is leading to the voltage, applied voltage Vm sin of omega t. Vm sin of omega t. This is called as the leading alternating quantity. This is called as the leading alternating quantity. Here only we can see, and the voltage is called as the lagging because the values of voltage are zero value, maximum value and minimum value later than the currents, later than the current alternating quantity. So current alternating quantity, that is okay, I is equals to Im sin omega t plus pi by 2 means current is leading. Current is leading. And if we see for this voltage waveform, the voltage waveform is lagging for current, so it is called as the lagging alternating quantity. The next question is the 4 marks question. State the difference between statically induced EMF and dynamically induced EMF. Okay. So the difference is asked for the 4 marks. So we have to write the 4 points. So first point we will see statically induced EMF. The EMF induced without any relative motion between conductor and magnetic field. This is called as statically induced EMF. And second, the EMF is induced due to the relative motion between conductor and magnetic field. The second point is EMF induced in the statically induced EMF, that is EMF induced when the changing magnetic flux link with a conductor, means flux linking action taking place where there is a statically induced EMF, and where the flux cutting action takes place there is a dynamically induced EMF. Okay, so in dynamically induced EMF, when the conductor cuts the magnetic flux due to their relative motion, is known as the dynamically induced EMF. Okay. Direction of statically induced EMF is given by the Lenge's law. What is meant by Lenge's law? The effect opposes its cause of production. And the second is direction of dynamically induced EMF is given by the Fleming's right hand rule. Okay. Then next, there are two types of statically induced EMF. One is the self-induced EMF and second is the mutually induced EMF. Self-induced EMF, when the current flowing through the same coil produces the EMF in that same coil, is known as the self-induced EMF. And if the current flowing through one coil induces EMF into the other coil, is known as the mutually induced EMF. In case of dynamically induced EMF, no such further classification. Okay. The best example for statically induced EMF is the EMF induced in the transformer winding. And the best example for dynamically induced EMF, the EMF induced in the generator or alternator of the winding. The next question we will see. The next question is the state the following laws with their applications. Okay. First law is the Faraday's law of electromagnetic inductions. Okay. Electromagnetism. Okay. Faraday's law. So Faraday's first law, whenever changing flux linked with a conductor, an EMF is induced in that conductor. Okay. Or when a conductor cuts across the magnetic field, the EMF induced into that conductor. This is a first law. When there is a flux linking action takes place with a conductor, is known as the Faraday's first law of electromagnetism. Means voltage will be inducing in that coil, induction of voltage. Okay. And the second law, the magnitude of induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of flux linking with conductor or rate of flux cut by the conductor. The application of both, that is the transformers and motors. Okay. Second is the Lenge's law. The direction of statically induced EMF is such that it always opposes the cause of production, is known as the Lenge's law. Okay, these are the two definitions. The next question is define the terms, that is the RMS value of an alternating quantity. RMS value is nothing but the root mean square value. Okay, root means square value. When a steady state current or DC current is passed through through a circuit through a circuit produces the same heat, produces a heat. Okay, when a steady state current or DC current pass through a circuit produces a heat, the same amount of heat is produced by an AC current flowing through the same circuit for the same interval of time. Means when the DC current flows through the circuit produces a heat. Okay, the same heat is produced by the AC quantity. Okay, this is called as the RMS value. Okay, we can see here definitions. Root mean square value of an AC quantity is equal to the DC quantity that is required to produce the same amount of heat as produced by the AC quantity, provided the resistance and time for which these current flow are identical, or the relations between maximum value and RMS value are given by IRMS is equals to the 0.707 times its maximum value. The second definition is the statically induced EMF. Earlier, in case of difference, we have seen this. In case of statically induced EMF, the conductor or coil remains stationary and the flux link with change by the simply increasing or decreasing current, producing this flux. As we can see in case of transformer, as we give supply to the primary winding, changing current flow through the primary winding produces a flux, changing flux in the primary winding, and this changing flux linked with the secondary winding through the magnetic core, then EMF will be produced into the secondary winding. Here the two windings are the stationary. There will be no rotation of the winding. So this EMF is called as the statically induced EMF. And the second definition is the Lenge's law. The law is say that the effect opposes its cause of production. This law gives the direction of induced EMF. The direction of induced EMF produced during the electromagnetic induction in such that it set up the current opposing the basic cause produce it. The minus sign is given below equation to the Lenge's law. This minus sign given. Okay, that is the effect opposes of cause of it production. Okay. Then the next definitions are given. Define the RMS value, average value. Okay, RMS value we have seen earlier. The value of an AC quantity is equal to the DC quantity that produce the same amount of heat produced by an AC quantity. Okay, provided that resistance and time for which these currents flow are identical. Okay, RMS value change. We have seen earlier RMS value definition. When the steady state DC current flowing through the circuit produces a heat, the same amount of heat is produced by an AC quantity for the same interval of time. We are flowing the current for the same interval of time. Okay, this is known as the RMS value, and the relation between RMS and maximum value is given by IRMS is equal to the 0.707 times its maximum value. Average value is defined as the average value of AC quantity is equal to the average of the all instantaneous value over the half a period of cycle. Here the word half a period of cycle is very important. Okay, average value is equal to the 0.637 times its the peak value. Okay, draw the phasor diagrams for the lagging and leading AC quantity. Earlier we have seen the lagging alternating quantity and the leading alternating quantity. The same is explained here. The next question is to define the following terms. That is the magnetic flux, the total number of magnetic line of force. Particular magnetic field is called as the magnetic flux. Unit of magnetic flux is the Weber. And the second, reluctance. Okay, it is the name given that the property of material by which oppose the creation of magnetic flux in it. It is measure the opposition offered to the passage of magnetic flux through the material in analogous to resistance. Reluctance is analogous to the resistance. The resistance opposes the flow of current. Here, the reluctance opposes the flow of flux. Okay. Then next is the inductance. The property of an electrical conductor or circuit that causes electromotive force to be generated by changing current flowing through the it. And unit of inductance is the Henry. Capacitance. Capacitance. The capacitance of capacitor is defined as the amount of charge required to creating a unit potential difference between its plates. Okay. As capacitance is two parallel plates are separated by a dielectric material. Okay. So C is equals to Q upon V. Q is nothing but the charge and potential difference. Okay. Then the next question is the power factor. The cosine of the phase angle between current and voltage is known as the power factor. Okay. Or it can be defined as the power factor is defined as by which apparent power is multiplied to obtain the true power or active power is known as the power factor. Power factor is the cosine of the angle between voltage and current. Okay. Then next is the phasor diagram. The diagram in which the different alternating quantities of the same frequency are represented by the phasors with their correct phase relationship is known as the phasor diagram. Here the power is given. There are the three types of powers in electrical circuit, that is the apparent power, reactive power and active power. Three types of powers: active power, reactive power and apparent power. Okay. So apparent power, it is given by the product of RMS values of voltage and current. S is equals to VR. Reactive power is defined as the product of RMS values of applied voltage and circuit current and the sign of the phase angle between voltage and current is known as the reactive power. Okay. We have seen the three types of powers in case of electrical circuit. First is the active power, defined as the product of voltage, current and the cosine of the angle between voltage and current, which is measured in the watt, kilowatt, megawatt and gigawatt. Active power. This power is actually utilized by the circuits. Reactive power, this power is not utilized by the circuit. Okay. And it is given by the RMS value of voltage and current multiplied by the sine of the angle between voltage and current. Okay. Then the next question is define the following terms: frequency, cycle, time period and amplitude. So frequency, first we will see the frequency. The number of cycle completed by an AC quantity per second is known as the frequency, and the unit of frequency is the hertz. Second is the cycle. In case of AC waveform, any repetition consisting one positive and one identical negative part is called as the cycle. Third is the time period. It is defined as the time taken in second by an AC quantity to complete one cycle is known as the time period. Next is the amplitude. The maximum value, peak value of an AC quantity is called as the amplitude. Okay. Then the next definitions are the form factor. Form factor is defined as it is the ratio of the RMS value to the average value. Okay. And it is the 1.11 for the sinusoidal waveform. Peak factor. The peak factor for alternating quantity is defined as the ratio of maximum value to the RMS value, and it is given as the 1.141. Okay. Earlier we have seen the next question is the state the three types of powers in case of AC circuits and show the on the power triangle. Okay. Earlier we have explained that the three types of powers in case of electrical circuits. One is the active power, second is the reactive power, and third is the apparent power. Active power is also known as the real power or true power. Okay. The active power is given by the product of voltage, current, and the cosine of the angle between voltage and current. Cosine of the phase angle between voltage and current. It is measured in the watt, kilowatt, megawatt. Okay. Second is the reactive power. This reactive power is product of RMS voltage and current and sine of the phase angle between voltage and current. It is measured in the kVAR and denoted by capital Q. Apparent power is total power. It is defined as the product of RMS voltage and RMS current. And then power triangle. Power triangle is the right angle triangle in which the base is represented by active power, height is represented by reactive power, and the hypotenuse is represented by the apparent power. Next question is the power factor and its significance. Okay, so power factor defined as the, it is the phase cosine of the phase angle between voltage and current. It is the cosine of the phase angle between voltage and current, or it is defined as the ratio of true power to the apparent power. Higher the value, higher its value, capacity of utilization of power system and useful power system as the useful power. Okay, higher its value, more is the capacity of utilization. Means low power factor leads to large power loss. Okay, so higher the value of power factor or better power factor is required to utilize the maximum power supply. Okay, higher its value, more is the capacity of utilization. If the capacity of utilization is more, means there should be a high power factor or better power factor. Okay, okay, thank you.